figured I should try to figure out where I was plugged up at. I ain't all the way ready yet. Obviously, I come in with my bonnet on, looking crazy. Technically, I waited until, go ahead and have his little bathroom break and needed some more breast milk before I came on. And so, what I have been doing, sitting here snatching all this stuff from off the GoPro. Hold on, let me get you some Wi-Fi real quick. Um, Snatching all this data off of the GoPro. Well, buying some time because I wanted to read me a book, but I forgot that I had footage that I needed to finish extracting from the GoPro. And so I said, well, I might as well do that in the meantime. And so it's really what I've been doing. It's a very tedious process. Let me put this on mute because I'll get the dog. Oh. Uh-oh. When you're using your micro SD card and you're using a adapter, it's so irritating trying to click on the video, see what the video is. Okay, I need this video. I want this video. Let me extract this video. And then you have to like open up Quick Player, back again. So irritating. Because you can't have a video. Like, never mind. Just keep it to myself because I know how little I don't want it to seem as though I'm complaining or anything. Oh, this is trash. Or anything like that. Like, I'm on my micro SD card. I click on the video, and then you exit out, and you would think that the list would stay open, but it doesn't. And then you have this tedious process of like reopening it. It sounds minuscule, right? Like, oh, you just. I've been trying to figure out, like, okay, because like you have this button at the top where you can like click, but you can't choose a file. If you click that, you know what? I would say happy Friday, but I'm a little late. Trust me, I know. It be like that sometimes. Oh my God. So happy Saturday. Don't mind me. I don't usually be on here on Fridays. I like a little peace of mind. So, excuse me. I'm telling you, listen. I told myself, I was like, okay, well, how about we just come on and we finish reading Power of Your Attitude, right? Let's just come on and read. Get myself caught up. I think I missed book club Thursday last week. I was like, you could just go in and read. I was like, oh yeah, that does seem like a really good idea. So thinking about it, like I said, I was just waiting for Cor to wake up so that way if I was to start reading, he wouldn't interrupt me. But then I got caught up with this GoPro and trying to extract data from the GoPro onto my Mac. You know, clear your SD cards because I don't have the bag, but trust me, I thought that switching over from Android to Apple was going to solve my storage problem. If only the tech gods would have told me that that was such a horrible decision. If only the tech gods would have told me, like, don't do it, don't do it. I made the switch and I feel like it put me like 2 years behind. I ain't even gonna lie. Because I had to learn Apple products and stuff. And then the big problem, the main problem was, paying this, what was it, $9.99 every month for, what was it, like 2 terabytes of storage, right? At some point, it should be like a purchase price, right? Like it shouldn't just go on forever. And then what you find out is once you cancel your subscription, oh, I'll keep my storage. Like I'll maintain my own. I don't need the iCloud, the extra iCloud storage. You know, my iPhone has what, terabyte or whatever. So I'm like, I don't need it. I don't need it. Well, then you can't get access to your emails. They restrict your email access, your pictures, your videos, anything like that. It's all, they just start hijacking your shit. If only the tech gods would have told me, you probably want to stick with Android, my life would be totally different. The only saving grace, and I will always maintain the only saving grace with Apple was them damn emojis. It's the That's the only saving grace. I promise you. That is the only saving grace for being with Apple is those emojis. Because when I first bought this this iPad, this iPad Pro, okay, must be in the lip. There was a major discrepancy, right? Where, and I haven't went through the settings again recently, but the shutdown button and the transfer data button, I spent all last summer just because I think she came with like 250, 250 gigs. So I was using the GoPro, I was transferring everything on there, just kind of keeping storage. And I had fell asleep. I had worked out, smoked, cleaned up, just did a whole bunch of stuff. And so I ended up crashing, falling asleep. And I woke up and Seth had my iPad. And he was like, here. And it was choose your language. And I'm just devastated. I'm like, what happened? And I just remember just boohoo crying. Not because I wasn't uploading my, giving them access to upload my stuff to the iCloud. It wasn't that. It wasn't that. It was because there are no security features to the transfer reset button. And I'm like, how were you able to reset my damn iPad without typing in my because like with Seth, he'll just how like kids, they just will click 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 click, right? Just you have no reason to be over there in settings. The only button is the shutdown button, right? But hi, Kira. But I don't necessarily know why you are over here in the reset. But the fact that you can just reset without typing in or requiring my password, didn't leave a good taste in my mouth with Apple products. Let me just put it that way. I'll just put it there at all. I'm still like heartbroken, like completely heartbroken about that shit. That was a lot of footage that I had gathered last summer. A lot of footage. And so to like wake up from my nap and to see it like just gone. No, you can't get anything back unless of course you uploaded it to your iCloud. And like some of it had, but of course, everything hadn't had an opportunity to upload because of how I like set up my iPad. Like if I'm sharing it obviously with like Seth, it was like what 3, 4 at the time. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. How are you? You know, you have to like use the hidden feature on your photos. If you know, you know. And so I'm utilizing that feature because I don't want you all on my shit. Um, and you know that is it's not getting uploaded, at least not yet. And so it just I just remember boohoo crying about that. I just remember boo hoo crying, like legit crying, and there was nothing I could do. I just had to let it go. Like, you know, sometimes you just have to let shit go. And eventually, that was all that I had to do. There was really nothing else to do. Maybe it's just me. You know, when you get to that content creator space, once you get to a certain space, you don't really like losing content. I was, um, what was happening with that GoPro? Oh, I forgot to time lapse it. And so it was like a regular video, you know, which regular videos take up a lot more space than the time lapse. And so I noticed that YouTube is moving into this time lapse era. And then you have to like voice over the time lapse and you know. And so I noticed that's the era that we're moving into. And so this summer I've been working on time lapse videos. And you know, everybody content create differently. Okay, so don't ever take my advice, okay? Trust me. Just let it come in one end and out the third. I'm like, don't take my advice, please. But for me, I like to work on content. So then that way I'm able to, can you stop? Have some stuff in the chamber ready to go when that next shift comes, that next wave. And so the next wave for me, Seth is starting kindergarten this August. Madison and Madeline is going to be in 4th grade. And so I have to have some content ready for this next transition because I don't know how the schedule is going to go. Like, I really don't. Is that Panjali? Panjali. I don't know. But I have to obviously be ready. And then, of course, I have to get into the whole voiceover thing. Oh, jeez. Okay. So that's really what I'm working on. I should have deleted these before I. So now I'm just extracting all of this stuff, all of this content. I don't want to call it stuff, I'll just call it content. From Jasmine Sterling. You, I can dig it. It is Saturday. I can dig it, yo. What up, though? I'm like, I can dig it. I can dig it. Yo. I can't dig it, my love. What's up? What y'all doing on this Saturday? Don't get me started. Because listen, luckily, I'm over here chilling. I'm over here chilling. My robe. I'm talking about the most comfortable clothing. You see me wearing this robe every day. Um, we could we could jump down the Tyler Robinson rabbit hole. We could. I'm just saying we definitely could. The problem though is I had tapped in. Um, it was yesterday, not yesterday Friday, because today is Saturday. So I'm not talking about Friday. I'm talking about Thursday. I had I had tapped in Thursday. You know, trying to be nosy. Like, let me see what's going on with this. It's the preliminary trial. It ain't even like the real trial. It's the preliminary hearing. Sorry. Trial hearing, whatever you want to call it. Don't have time for the semantics right now. Just whatever they got going on with whatever they're trying to figure out, whether or not they want to proceed, that. I had tapped in, right? Let me get me some water, because let me fix my chair. I want to go find it. Let me take me a little brain break, because I want to go find it. You. I don't think people understand what we're dealing with this Tyler Robinson shit. Like, people don't understand what we're dealing with. Like, y'all have no idea. Like, some people do, a lot of people do, but it's kind of one of those moments where I was like, I may just want to mind my business with this one. This ain't got nothing to do with me. This, but you don't want to really, like, you know how you don't want to be one of those people. Because I really don't. I really don't. I could be over there with Nolan and trying to figure out what happened on this damn private island. Or was it just an island? I don't know. Some shit was going on with the Nolan Wells. Was that his damn name? See what I mean? Look, I can I can I just that's why I was like, oh, I probably should just read and mind my business, because y'all be having too much shit going on for me, to be quite honest. Like, y'all be having like way too much shit going on for me. That's just whoever the witness was, right? I tapped in. I had it on the TV, right? Because I only get I only get like a few minutes with the TV, like, because you share the TV time, and I probably get like, a little quick little 30, 45 minutes with the TV. And so there's a lady on the stand. Who was she again? She is what the fuck she said she was? What was her job description? Some supervisor shit for somebody, something, something. Girl, anyway. And the prosecutor has some lab results. Some lab results back from the DNA on the screwdriver and the DNA on the towel. The state ran those because the state has those items, and the state ran the DNA test for those items. ATF has no, FBI has the screwdriver and the towel. ATF has the gun. And then they sent her over the lab results from the screwdriver and the towel. I haven't even gotten to the text messages yet, but I had stopped because prosecution. Okay, well, is these the lab results that you had got back? Yes. Okay. Can you read this section for me, right? And what did the lab results say? I don't know which one was worse. That Krishan Rock trying to give Jonathan slash Blueface those paternity tests, where they had did their little paternity test on their little show, um, whatever show they had with Krishan and Blueface, and you cannot be excluded as the father or some stupid ass shit that they had said. This one, like, I thought that was stupid when I had heard it because I know, like, paternity DNA test is either 0 or 99.99. It's none of that. It's no words involved when it comes to DNA tests. It's numbers, 0 or 99.9. It's none of that extra shit. So what ended up happening was she's on the stand, and the prosecutor asked her, "Hey, what it?" First of all, this is a damn Google Doc. This is a Google Doc. We got types, words typed up, paragraphs and shit. And then here we go. What was the DNA test results on the screwdriver? And she's reading this shit. And it says, well, and I'm paraphrasing because it's just like 2 days ago. Well, let me just go find it because it it got under my skin so fucking bad. I'm talking about my skin. Well, if the DNA test results were between Tyler and Lance, then there's a quintillionth, I think that's the word she used, quintillionth possibility that the DNA test is actually Lance's but not Tyler Robinson's. But if it was compared to Tyler Robinson and just a random stranger, then the probability. Bitch, what the And I said, I'm done. I was like, nope, 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 no. And I don't know what happened today, but everybody's been going crazy. So it had to be some else. It had to be some old shit that happened today. Candace was online praying and shit. Oh, Saint Michael, please. I'm like, what happened? My motherfucking head was hurting. Look, he already on. That's Cuff Boys. Charlie Kirk murder hearing. Leaked confession note causes chaos in court. Leaked confession note. What are we doing? I was still trying to figure out what happened with Nolan Wells. Let me see what Drewski doing. I don't know what music she. I don't know what music that is, but I can't. I'm just missing timestamps. See what I mean? Is Lance Twigs a fake? Okay. See what I mean? Like I can't. My thing is, what was the DNA test results from the screwdriver? That's it. What? Who was on there? That's it. I just want to know who DNA test results were on the screwdriver, whose DNA test results were on the towel. That's it. Just tell me who and who. Well, if it was between Tyler and Lance's twigs, then it's a quintillionth time more probability that it's Lance's DNA. But then if it was Tyler compared to anybody else, I'm sorry, who's on trial? Is it Lance or is it Tyler? So if we're talking about DNA on a screwdriver, why are you bringing Lance's name into this? Like, explain to me, why are you bringing Lance's name into this? If we're talking about DNA test on the towel, why are you bringing Lance's name into it? Well, if it was compared to, we don't compare anything when it comes to a DNA test. Just tell me who's on there. When I said no fucking way. And look, I'm already going back on what I said. It was some shit. It's some shit that happened. I'm telling you. I know it for a fact. It had to. Because everybody was just going crazy. Literally. Everybody was losing their shit today. Everybody was fucking losing their shit today. I'm like, see? This is y'all people, bro. Like, I'm telling you, this is y'all people. Because remember, now we have to figure out what is the big distraction. Because now they have us distracted with this Nolan. Whatever happened with Nolan. We're not even worried about what's going on with again Charlie Kirk. Now we're over here distracted with the damn Nolan Wells and a private island or something with an island. Let me see, cause like I just I just wanted to finish editing my videos. But I'm gonna see just because.
Of the Tyler Robinson hearing for the murder of Charlie Kirk has concluded. Yesterday, that note that Tyler left for his roommate under the keyboard was showed on accident, and that starts a bunch of drama today. Then we see more boring DNA stuff later on. Hit subscribe, let's go.
Every morning, this court has a colloquy with the camera operators about their ability to comply with this court's orders, and they acknowledge that they understand the order and that they can comply with it, and the court asks them if they have any problem with it, and they state to the court that they do not have a problem with it. We also spent many, many, many hours of court time addressing which exhibits will and will not be published through the electronic media. And this exhibit, the court ordered would not be published through the electronic media, and it was.
I knew it. All right, yesterday, I pointed out, oh wow, I don't think we were supposed to see that note from Tyler to Lance under the keyboard.
Side by side, exhibit 24.
Oh.
And
Oh.
Hold on. Were we not supposed to?
Luna. Oh. If you are reading this per my text, then I am so sorry I left the house this morning on a mission and set an auto alert text. Oh, okay, and set an auto text. Okay. I am.
This?
Oh, that's his. Okay, I am likely dead or facing a lengthy prison sentence. I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I took it. I don't know if I will or have succeeded, but I had hoped to make it home to you. Okay. If you are reading this per my text, okay, so he sent. It's an auto text that he sent. Okay.
really quickly. What happened was the state was up there on the podium and he switched it to a different exhibit when the camera operator was still zoomed in on the other exhibit that
Right.
was allowed to be shown. So it
Right.
wasn't the camera operator's fault.
Right.
Media and the state
You shoulda-
control this exhibit and the publication.
Okay, well, crybaby, woo woo woo. Like, oh well. That's what y'all get. This is oh, that was 4 hours with oh, that was Niecy who was live. Look, I'm like, that's what y'all get. Y'all trying to be all secretive about this shit. Charlie Kirk's mother weeps in court. Okay. And then is that blue? Is that blue eye? Oh my God! Look at that blue. Oh my God. She gonna be so serious. I'm glad Beyonce taught her ass how to dance. I'm glad she taught her ass how to dance. Oh my God! Look at Hermes. That damn Nipsey Hussle, Lord. Fart fries. This actually might be funny.
Rich flavors. Expert.
It's a fart flies. This actually might be funny. Taking a break. Oh, did I finish? Did I finish, everybody? The ones who I was. $13.26. So that's not. Okay. Come on with that music. It's poppin', P. You finna put some fart spray on Chris Fry's, Lord. And what is he doing with this mask 4 years later after COVID? Now he walking around with a mask. He is spraying all type of fart spray on Chris Fry's, Lord. Now listen, if you don't remember that fart spray prank that Chris did, and he threw that burger in, this is a good get back. Look how look at the face.
This shit smell like hot ass. What the fuck? Bro, what the fuck is this, gang? Fries, man. Fresh fries. You gonna go beat they ass. What the fuck? Who working in there? You know somebody working in there? You was arguing with them or something? No. Bro, this shit smell like ass. What the fuck? The fries just came off the grease, man. Ain't no way I'm not tweaking. Yeah, somebody. Huh? What? This shit smell like blood. What the fuck? Who's gonna go in there, bro? What? Man, no, that was free. It was free. They just gave it to me. Ain't no way, boy. I ain't had Wendy's in a minute, but I don't remember these bitches smell.
I ain't had Wendy's in a minute either. Somebody just eat one.
Hell no, I cannot eat this shit.
He over there struggling to breathe.
You smell these bitches. Am I tweaking for these motherfuckers don't smell like ass? No. It's like grease. I'm gonna go in this bitch, cause at this point they playing with us. Don't, what you finna go in there for? Bothering the people, leave the people alone. It ain't farted in our bed. The fuck? You was in there arguing with they ass?
He know exactly what it was too.
That shit not funny. Hey! Why you say that? How they gonna do that when we stand there, man? They farted in your bag. They farted in your bag. Why they fart in my bag? Let me smell your shit. Go ahead, smell mine. What the fuck? Yeah. It's meat fries they got in that bitch. You know what they call? Fart fries, motherfucker. Huh? Yeah, nigga.
He chunked that bitch too.
Look at my bag up. I ain't get got. I just went and brought you something. Them to wipe their mouth out to eat some shit. Look, I'm talking about
That shit stink. Yeah, yeah, that stink.
That bag was so cool. My car's
That Get Back got crazy. That was about 3-4 years ago when he did that prank on Chris Johnson. He had sprayed that dog on fart spray. He got so, he still that got so mad he threw that whole burger at him. Wham! I'm talking about chunked it too. I was like, stop playing. He said, why you gonna fart and then walk past us? Walk past me. Okay, Hodge Twins was on Tucker. Interesting. Should we go over there and watch Hodge Twins and Tucker? Where did the Jabberwockers just perform at? I haven't seen them in a minute. Oh my God, thank you for the thumbs up. It's a dance competition. Okay, come on with the intro. My God. I've been getting caught up with Silos. You know, I'm a little late on this whole Silos thing from, what was that, Apple TV, Netflix, wherever it was playing at. I got caught up in it. I'm already on season 2. Just that fast. And I was pretty impressed. I still am. I'm trying to get my episode in now before I go to bed. Or go to bed. Silos. She got a whole solo. Are we missing some players? There we go. Look, I'm like, we missing some people. I was finna. Hold on. Hold on. Let me just put her on my headphones. They such dancers. Mmm. Mmm. Ooh. This song go crazy. I gotta figure out who sing that song. Listen to it. Oh, it's going crazy. Big Sean. I think this Bless. Blessing or something. Is that Drake? No, that's Big Sean. Oh, that's Drake. Jesus Christ. Why did I think that was Big Sean? Oh my. That is so Drake. That is Drake. Dang. So disrespectful. I am going to, hold on, let me see.
podcast with Riverside, all you need is a concept.
A way to record it. Here's how it works.
I just needed to have something playing in the background.
It's gonna be a damn good show.
Oh, I hear you great. Got my stupid glasses on because you can't see anything. Gentlemen, thanks for having me.
Thank you for being with us. We appreciate it.
Oh, are you kidding? I'm honored.
Really? Wow. I'm blown away. This is amazing.
My brother, I was just talking to my brother this morning, who's like your biggest fan.
Oh,
And,
Your brother?
he's like, I can't believe you're doing my brother. His name is Buckley Carlson. He's known to my family as Uncle Buck, and
That's
he's
amazing.
my only brother and my best friend. And he's like your biggest fan.
okay.
I'm blushing. Yeah.
I'm blushing.
Turn red.
The f- blushing, really?
Where are you guys?
We're based in Vegas. Yeah. But originally from Virginia.
Where?
Martinsville, Virginia. Martinsville. Small town, rural area. They got a racetrack and everything.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
Mm.
I'm going to Vegas tomorrow morning at 3 a.m.
Oh, wow. What brings you out to Vegas?
Yeah. The Conor McGregor fight.
Oh, okay. That's right.
Yeah. He's a friend of mine and a good dude, so I'm going out to see him.
All right, I guess we'll get started. You know what?
Great.
I would say I regret my vote for Trump.
Oh,
I would say I'm very disappointed. Yeah. But what's the alternative going forward? Yeah, I understand you want to start a third party.
Yeah, I mean, I want an option.
Right.
I don't really understand politics very well, despite having covered it for 35 years. So, I mean, it's enormously complex in its details. Like, how do you start a party? How do you get on the ballot? I don't know. There are people who do, of course, who specialize in it. But my main point is there ought to be an option. You ought to be able to vote for a candidate who represents you in some way.
In
And
some
what I
way.
learned, yeah, in some way. Like, if you wake up one morning and both parties agree on the big issues on how we ought to structure the economy, give preference to banks over, like you, and how we ought to run our foreign policy, take orders from Israel, both parties agree on those issues, which are the biggest issues of government, then it's not a real system. There's not actually a choice. And I've always resisted using the phrase uniparty because it seemed kind of nutty, and of course there are differences. And by the way, there are actual differences between the parties. They disagree on trans or abortion, and those are real issues. Abortion is definitely a real issue in my opinion. However, on the economy and foreign policy, which I think everyone would agree are the main things that a government does, they don't disagree. They're in total agreement. And I happen to disagree with those views. I don't think you ought to be taxed at twice the rate for having a job that you are if you invest money. I think that's sick. I don't understand how that happens. So I disagree with them on that, and I disagree on the foreign policy question. I don't think maintaining this empire for the benefit of other countries is like in our interest. So I would like to have candidates who dissent, who disagree with both Trump and Chuck Schumer, who were on the same side on these issues.
Right. You know what's weird to me is you mentioned this word uniparty, and you look at this war in Iran, and the Democrats are vocally totally against this war, but they're not doing anything about it. Is that just performative politics on their end?
We've had anti-war protests in this country since before I was born. Okay? I mean, we had an entire decade of American politics that was dominated by anti-war protests. Then you have the war in Iraq. We have anti-war protests. I covered them. Where are the anti-war protests now? Well, there are none. This is less popular than Vietnam. This is less popular than the Iraq War, but there are no protests. And of course, the answer is that protests are not spontaneous. Big demonstrations are organized by nonprofits. And those nonprofits are funded almost exclusively by Democratic donors. And those donors are in favor of this war because they're in favor of regime change in Iran, because they see Iran as the biggest threat to Israel. And so those donors who donate to both parties, but also the Democratic Party, they may disagree with, they don't like Trump, and they disagree with this or that detail about how he prosecuted the war, but fundamentally they're for this. Chuck Schumer is for regime change in Iran. He said so. So that's how you know that there really is a uniparty. This is the biggest thing the U.S. government has done in my lifetime. And everybody in charge is for it? Like, that's not a working system. That's a broken system.
Do you think the Jewish lobby is the main culprit behind this? Because when Trump came out and said there was a nuclear weapon, I was like, nobody can be this stupid to fall for that excuse to start a war with Iran. I mean, was that honestly a huge threat of a nuclear war with Iran attacking Israel or the United States?
Of course not. That's absurd. Well, first of all, we had a 12-day war last June that the administration told us ended the Iranian nuclear program. So the Iranian nuclear program was not the primary threat to the United States. If you're worried about nuclear war, we're on the cusp of a nuclear exchange in Eastern Europe between Russia and Europe, because the United States and the big European countries are fighting a war with Russia. And we don't get to read about it in the American media because they kind of ignore that it's happening. And the Russians are now saying, if you keep this up, we're going to lob a nuke into Western Europe. This is close as we've ever been to nuclear war since the last time those weapons were used in 1945. This is the closest right now. And we're ignoring it. So it's not like our leaders are afraid of nuclear weapons. Trump threatened to use nuclear weapons against Iran in public on Truth Social. So that whole story they told us was not just a lie, but like an absurd, preposterous lie that none of them believed. No, Trump did this because he was pushed to do it by his donors and people whose advice he listens to. And their primary interest was not what's best for the United States. Trust me.
Yeah,
At Vistaprint, we know you've got that idea for your business. The one that stops people mid-walk or makes your team say, we're really doing.
Trump used the words, we're going to liberate the people of Iran. I hear this and
By
then...
bombing a girls' school. Yeah.
Right. I hear this and I'm like, how are these people falling for this? This is a Muslim theocracy. This is their culture. This is the way of life. Israel and America and the United States are going to liberate the people of Iran, but MAGA falls for it. It's all over social media. We're going to help these people. And then it's like, do MAGA really care about Muslims in Iran? It's like all a farce, a lie.
It's absurd. It's absurd. And by the way, if you do care about the people of Iran, why has no one asked the administration to apologize for murdering a bunch of schoolgirls next to an IRGC base in the opening days of the war? Everyone accepts that, accidents happen in war. They call it collateral damage.
Right.
It's awful, but why not just say, I'm sorry for that? I'm sorry we double-tapped the girls' school. I think most people, including Iranians, would accept, oh my gosh, what a tragic mistake, but no one ever apologized for it. So clearly nobody cares.
Okay.
And that's a moral crime. It's a stain on our country. We're the ones who did it, or the Israelis did it. The same difference, because you're in this war together. And so, you can't claim I care so much about the people of Iran that I have to liberate the country, whatever that means.
Right.
Liberate the country from its own system. I mean, the whole thing is so deranged, actually. And by the way, is Iran, look, I don't live in Iran. I've never been to Iran, and I don't seek to live there. On the other hand, Canada, the country with which we share the largest border, it's our biggest trading partner, just killed 100,000 Canadians. The government did, through its MAID program, through euthanasia, over the last 10 years, 100,000. Did the Iranians kill 100,000 of their own people with lethal injection? I don't think they did. So, let's get some perspective here. I'm not defending Iran. I'm just saying, compared to what? Iran is an authoritarian government. It's a theocracy, famously. Are there more religious nuts in Iran than there are in Israel or the United States? I'm not sure, actually. Because I watched Americans who I know personally, like Mike Huckabee, say, Jesus is commanding us to kill Iranians.
That's insane.
I see people in Israel saying, it's literally insane, but it's also religious extremism. I mean, it's the definition of it. I see people in Israel all the time, cabinet ministers, say, no, we have to kill every person in Iran or Gaza or the West Bank or southern Lebanon because they're Amalek, which is an Old Testament concept where God orders you to kill not just the person you're fighting, but his wife and his children and his babies and his livestock, his entire bloodline. That's religious extremism. That's insanity. So I'm sure they have a lot of that in Iran. They also have a lot of that here, and they have a lot of that in Israel. So, slow down before you start calling other people religious extremists. Do you know what I mean?
Right. They like to use the term terrorist, but it's like, how can we actually criticize Iran, calling them terrorists when we do the same things they're doing?
Well, I hate to agree with you. I mean, this is my country. I love this country. I'm not leaving. However, there's some truth in what you're saying. And again, it's an offense against us, Americans, decent people. The majority of the country is like very sensible and kind and nice to their neighbors and gives directions to strangers, nice to dogs. Like, these are good people in America. And yet our leaders are behaving in, I mean, you've got cabinet secretaries who I know personally standing up and like, we killed people, it's so great. Bragging about killing people? Shame on you. That's disgusting. I mean, you can say, well, we have to kill these people to defend ourselves. Okay, I get it. We've got a home invasion, we're shooting the invader. Got it. But to crow about the death of other people, that's not Christian. That's like pagan. That's like Aztec. That's totally un-American. It's totally un-Christian. It's disgusting. And anyone who doesn't is going to be punished for it in this life or the next. And it grieves me to see people I know personally, who I like personally, actually, who I voted for, you know what I mean? Talk like that. It degrades our country.
Right. I think you have a lot of good insight with Trump because you used to talk to him a lot. Israel has been lobbying our presidents for decades to attack Iran. Why do you think Trump fell for that and caved?
Man, I wish I knew. That's the question. Trump is weak, obviously. I mean, I've always known that. He seeks the approval of others. He attacks the New York Times, but then reads every mention of himself in the New York Times. You know, that's a sign of insecurity and weakness. And clearly he is insecure and weak. And he's lots of other things, too, that are good. I mean, Trump is a complicated person.
Right.
And there's a lot about Trump that I really like. Still. But I knew that he was weak. Everyone who knows him and watches him carefully knew that. Was it just that? I don't know. I mean, Trump went into this knowing, and I know that he knew it because I talked to him about it, that if this went wrong, it would destroy his administration, his legacy, this country. Like, he knew the stakes really, really well. And he did it anyway. Again, and I don't think there were many advisors around him in the White House who were pushing hard for this. Marco Rubio wanted it, I think. But he wasn't standing on a desk screaming at Trump to do it. The people who were pushing him were the Israelis and their agents in this country, Mark Thiessen and Mark Levin and Rupert Murdoch and all the people who carry water for the Israeli government. And Trump listened to them, not his own vice president. Or his own family. I don't understand it. And I felt from the first days that there was something else going on that I couldn't prove, but there was some weird behavior that Joe Kent, the former counterterrorism head, has talked about in public about the Butler shooting and the lack of an investigation and the lack of transparency into what the investigation found. That makes you wonder, is there a connection between that and Trump's very strange decision to wreck his country on behalf of Israel? Like, why would you ever do something like that? But he did. So, I don't know. I don't think I'm a conspiracy nut, but I mean, I was pretty close to all this stuff as it was happening, and I thought it was weird then, and I think it's even weirder now.
Yeah. So far with the war with Iran, how do you think it's going? Trump has said repeatedly that we've won the war, we've annihilated their military. I think he's full of shit. I think we're losing this war, and he's just saying these things trying to save face.
Of course we've lost the war. I mean, we've lost the war by any measurement, including his own. Like, just go back to February 28th. What were the goals that he said this war was intended to achieve? We haven't achieved them. In fact, the United States is in a much, much weaker position in many ways than it was 4 months ago. So no, we've lost. The question is, how badly are we going to be damaged by that loss? And that, to some extent, is up to us, not entirely up to us, but to some extent. I mean, the key fact is the United States, despite the decades of propaganda about how we're energy independent, we have enough oil,
Right.
we're still dependent on oil from other countries because the price of oil is set internationally, and there are kinds of oil.
Put what in the pantry?
Oil with certain levels of sulfur
Stop putting stuff in there and take it out.
that doesn't.
There's nothing in there that's open.
The point is, the US
Like, there's literally nothing in there that's open.
horrible consequences economically starting in a couple weeks, like August, if the Strait of Hormuz isn't restored to what it was. And even if it is tomorrow, there's still, for a bunch of different reasons, going to be massive and negative economic effects on the United States, damage to the United States. So, like, that's the main fact that Trump's facing. So he kind of has to open the Strait of Hormuz somehow. The problem is, it's not up to him. And we've shown the world's best funded military, which may or may not be the best military, I mean, judge for yourself, but like it gets more money than any military in history, $1.5 trillion. That military can't open this waterway, which the world needs, not just for oil and gas, but for sulfur and fertilizer and all these different commodities that make life in the modern world possible. If that's closed, people starve to death. It's just a fact. And by the way, Trump knew this going in. I talked to him about it before the war. And, you know, I think everyone else who talked to him about it, because it's like the central factor. What's the most important fact of Iran? That they're a theocracy with a missile program and nuclear ambitions? No. The most important fact about Iran is its geography. It's on the northern edge of the Strait of Hormuz, which is the only waterway out of the Persian Gulf, which is where a fifth of the world's energy comes from. So, like, where it sits on the map is the most important thing about Iran. And for almost 50 years, we've had this hostile relationship. We impose sanctions, but Iran allows international shipping through the strait. Well, now they don't. So everything, the world has changed completely. Iran went from being this like outlaw state that everyone made fun of and everybody hated to being one of the most powerful countries in the world. It's just a fact. That's what Trump and Bibi's war did to Iran. So your options now are what? What are they? Nuke Iran?
Yeah, so,
Which is allied with China and Russia? I mean, I don't think so.
yeah, so there's a lot of truth that we could be run out of oil in a couple weeks, a month.
Well, yeah, we've got something called the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, which has been around a long time. It was greatly expanded under George W. Bush. Basically, it's a bunch of old salt caverns that are filled with oil, and the point of this reserve is to provide a cushion to global energy markets. So American consumers of gasoline and diesel and jet fuel and heating oil and asphalt and everything that we use that comes from oil don't see sharp price fluctuations, right? It's a cushion, it's a reserve. It's a strategic reserve. Well, so Biden drained it, Trump did not refill it, and now we've drained it almost to the point where we can't take any more out for a bunch of geological reasons. If you take too much oil out of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, the caverns will collapse. So like and it also gets saltier the farther down you go, whatever. It's not that interesting, but the point is, we're basically at the end. We are weeks away from not being able to draw down. And at that point, American consumers are just at the mercy completely of the international oil price, the price of Brent crude. So it's like, this could be super bad. And not just with energy, which is the basis of everything. I mean, everything you buy is made with energy. And it's fossil fuels. It's not made with solar, sorry, despite the lies they told you. It's fossil fuels. But not just that, fertilizer. So most fertilizer used around the world comes from oil and natural gas, actually mostly gas. But what the point is, if you raise the price of fertilizer, people get less food. Now, in countries like America, you know, we can survive it. Places like Africa, a lot of sub-Saharan Africa, people are going to starve, for real. And so the implications of this are, like, world historic. And I think Trump understands that, which is why he agreed to the MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding, which was a humiliating defeat for the United States, but it was better than what would have happened if we kept going. But the Israelis hated it because it constrained their behavior. The first paragraph in the MOU is, you got to stop the war in Lebanon. That's the first paragraph. And the Israelis didn't want to do that. So this country of 9 million people has prevented a peace settlement that's to the advantage of the United States. And now it's been blown up. And now 2 days ago, Trump's like, yeah, we're out. Okay, so what's the plan now? What is the plan now? I mean, it's actually one of the most upsetting things I've ever seen. I don't know how much coverage it's getting in the American media, but like, what is the plan? There's no military solution to this. If there was, I guess we would have exercised it, right?
I think if there
isn't.
Yeah, I think the only military solution, it would require a lot of American soldiers dying. But even in that case, I don't think you can bomb your way or fight your way out of this. It seems like to me, Iran is trying to fight an economic war, while the United States and the neocons and the Zionists and the people that's all for this war, they think they could actually bomb their way to more power. But I don't think this particular war is going to work out that way. think it's more of an
That's such a
economic war.
smart observation. I totally agree with that. We're fighting past each other.
Right.
So Iran has what the 26th or 36th biggest economy in the world. It's not a huge economy relative to us, or China or Russia. But what they do have again is geography, and so they understand like we're probably not going to beat the United States in a head-to-head pitched battle, like a tank, standoff. So we're not going to do that. What we can do is strangle them economically, and they've understood that since the first day, and we haven't because we talked ourselves. And Trump has been a part of this, like his mesmerizing boasting, which is meant to kind of make you feel good and kind of cast a spell over you. No, we've got the greatest military of all time. The greatest military of all time. It's like, okay, that may or may not be true. I don't know. But I do know that it doesn't matter how great your military is. It can't answer every question. It can't solve every problem. It's not, do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like
right.
the old line about when you're a hammer, everything's a nail, but everything is not a nail, actually. And the Israelis have fallen for this more than anybody. Israel is a tiny country with a tiny population. It's, impressive in its way for a country of 9 million people, but they don't really make anything. Just implements of war and espionage, that's it. There's no real economy, and there's no throw weight. It's a tiny, tiny country. So, but they've talked themselves into this idea that because we have this incredibly powerful military, which is really our military, we can do whatever we want. And I'm not even criticizing that on moral grounds. It's obviously disgusting as a worldview, but it's just not true. It's just not, that's not reality. You can't, it doesn't matter. As J.D. Vance said the other day, you can't kill your way out of every problem. That's just true. Sorry.
What brought you up to the problem that Israel imposes on the United States? Because I just became hip to this maybe probably within the last year. I was really oblivious to it.
Well, I mean, it's a matter of degrees. I mean, Israel's always, I was born in 1969, so for my entire life, Israel has exercised undue influence over the U.S. government. It became very clear to me talking to people in the U.S. government maybe about 10 years ago that Israel did have some role, they believed, and these were very knowledgeable people, in the assassination of President Kennedy in 1963. I can't prove that. All the documents haven't been released, which does suggest maybe there's some truth to it, but whatever. So I've known things like that. I was never hostile to Israel, especially if they were involved in Kennedy's assassination. It's a total outrage, and I think there's evidence that they were. But, that was before I was born. I was able to kind of ignore it. Again, I never hated Israel. I don't hate Israel now. I feel sorry for them. But it was really the Iran war because at that point, I even ignored the Gaza genocide, probably to my shame, for a long time. I was like, I don't want to even think about that. But when they hijacked the Trump administration days after the inauguration, I was there. I was in Washington. Bibi shows up. We got this new president. Everyone's excited. He's assembled this coalition that included you and Bobby Kennedy, and all these kind of non-traditional Republican voters are voting for Trump because they want him to make the country better. And all of a sudden, this foreign head of state shows up and is like, no, take all of your time, all of your energy, a lot of your money, and shift it towards solving my problems. And it's like, really up yours, pal. Get out of here. Who are you, you creepy little weirdo? Get out of here. Like, this is our country. This is the United States of America. We're not going to take orders from you. Leave. And I would say to Trump and people around him, get this guy out of here. Who's this guy? Oh, I'm Bibi Netanyahu. It's like, shut up. Go back to your stupid country.
Right.
But he didn't go back to his stupid country. He kept coming back to Washington. And I watched over the course of a year as we got closer and closer and closer to this regime change war. And I couldn't believe it was happening. I couldn't believe it. In fact, up until the moment we launched, which was overnight Eastern time on the 28th of February, I couldn't believe this was actually going to happen. But it did. And at that point, it's like this relationship has damaged the United States so much, in so many ways, obvious and non-obvious, that we just can't have this anymore. And I don't care what names they call me or an anti-Semite. Well, actually, no, I'm not. And I'm never going to be an anti-Semite. I'm an American. And I, by the way, for whatever it's worth, know a lot of Jews who agree with me, but I don't care who agrees with me. It's just like, it's obvious that this relationship is poisoning and damaging our country. It's also humiliating. These people are disgusting. They're literally committing genocide, as the Nazis did. Why are we in league with them? Like, what is this? Get out of here, please. And you should all be on trial for what you're doing in Lebanon, the West Bank, and in Gaza. Like, you should be on trial. We're taking a moral lecture from you.
Yeah.
Like, it's so crazy.
Yeah, Trump
That,
called, yeah. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it.
Yeah, Trump called, Bibi a war hero. That is,
Well, you have to ask, like, what is this about of all the people in the world, all the heads of state? You know, most of them are flawed people. All heads of state are flawed people. All people are flawed people, right?
right.
But if you're to pick a head of state to lavish with praise, the guy committing genocide would probably not be on your list. I mean, this is literally, and it's not just Netanyahu, it's his entire cabinet. A lot of the population of Israel, according to public opinion polling, agrees with the genocide. Like, it's a country in a state of derangement, of mania, just like Germany was during the Nazi period, just like Rwanda was during the genocide. Like, this happens to countries. It's not just Israelis. Like, this is, every person is capable of this kind of behavior. But they happen to be doing it right now. And why would you be aligned with them? Like, it's unbelievable. It stains you so much. It's so bad for you to be involved in this. And the United States is making it all possible. Our government is paying for the murder of tens of thousands of children in the Middle East. Like, why would we ever, as our country rots, our airports are embarrassing, our roads are falling apart, we don't even know who lives here, we can't seem to get people to leave the country who are here illegally, they're all on benefits. Like, the whole thing's like kind of decaying at a very quick pace, and we're spending our money and our time killing kids on Israel's behalf. Like, it's too much. It's just too much.
Yeah, let me ask you a question. Trump, I would, from the outside looking in, of course you had a close relationship, you talked to this man, but from the outside looking in, when I see Trump, I'm thinking his leadership style is that he surrounds himself with a bunch of cowards and sycophants. Is that a fair estimation on my part, or am I like totally way off? Because nobody stopped him from doing this.
I think that's roughly speaking true. You know, there's some people I like enormously. There's some smart people. There's some patriotic people. There's some well-meaning people. You know, they're just people. But there's some good people who I really, really like. But there aren't clearly many people or any people willing to walk in there and say, "What are you doing? What is it?" You know, with respect. What is this? And I'm not quite sure why. And you know, there are people. In some cases, I know very, very well, and I don't really understand why they have allowed this to happen. I mean, I get, you know, the counter would be, well, like, what do you do? Well, I don't know what you do, but the first thing you do is march in there and say, this is crazy, you know. And in their defense, he doesn't react well. I mean, I said to him last June in a phone conversation, you're being led around, I think I said verbatim, you're being led around by the nose by Netanyahu, and everyone can see it, and it's humiliating, because he was being led around by the nose, and he really hated that. But like, okay, you know, I've gone off on some pretty crazy jags in my life. I was like a slobbering alcoholic. So, and people corrected me, like, no, you can't pass out in a restaurant or get in a fist fight at a dinner party or whatever you do when you're drinking too much, which I did. And you don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear it when people correct you. On the other hand, they have an obligation to correct you, and you have an obligation to take it like a man.
Right.
So, like, that's just what life is. Occasionally, good people go way, way off course. But you don't ignore it. You say, no, you know, don't sleep with the au pair, or no, you can't do cocaine in the morning, or whatever the person's doing that's, like, totally over the top.
Right.
You say, no. And for some reason, that dynamic does not exist around Trump. And I don't really understand why.
Give me something to try. I guess they're going to sit here and talk about Trump for an hour and a half. Bummer. It's like people accessed. Let me see how much did that do. I got 4 hours worth of footage. It's not bad. I'm gonna charge it up. I was gonna say, how long I've been on here? 2:30. I had to clear some stuff. What's this? Okay, so then that means that um, 22 and 29. Alright. In the meantime, in between time.